The sovereign pit of Varen Prime had seen countless contests of survival, but none like the one unfolding today. The Colosseum's black obsidian floor mirrored the twin suns blazing overhead, scattering streaks of crimson and gold across the throngs of spectators. Delegations from 47 species had assembled to witness the selection, a ritual older than many civilizations, where the unfit were removed from the herd, the fragile culled before their weakness could drain resources or imperil the strong. Lyra stood among the other younglings, her scales still soft, almost translucent, a pale green that would darken with age. Barely 3 cycles old, she was the smallest of the Thaylen contingent, her slender frame shaking beneath ceremonial armor that draped awkwardly over her narrow shoulders. The verdict of her genetics had been declared at birth: brittle bones, limited musculature, slowed neural responses. She carried the mark of the Forsaken, a black circle bisected by a jagged line on her chest plate, signaling her deficiency to anyone who glanced her way. The weak leached the vitality of the clutch, Elder Morvek had intoned while marking her. Better to excise the rot than let it spread. High Regent Corvix of the Drax Dominion towered above the arena, his chitinous frame stretching 12 feet high. His people had perfected the art of elimination over millennia, forging an empire upon the principle that only the strong deserve to endure. The selection, they claimed, was a gift to nascent species, a harsh lesson in survival disguised as mercy. Step forward marked 1, Corvix's multi-lensed eyes fixed on Lyra, his translator crackling with authority. The crowd parted as she moved, each step seeming to stretch into eternity. The young Thaylen felt countless eyes upon her, some pitying, many approving. They called it mercy. The hunter would end her life quickly. From the shadows at the far edge of the Colosseum emerged the executioner, a Drevnir mercenary, feared across the quadrant. Vorin had carried out hundreds of selections, flawless and unhesitating. His targeting array activated, 4 crimson dots flitting across Lyra's chest before locking on the mark. "The weak must fall for the strong to rise," Corvix proclaimed. "Such is the order of the civilized." Vorin raised his plasma rifle. Silence swallowed the arena. Lyra closed her eyes. A voice shattered the tension, slicing through the air like a shard of crystal. "That is enough." All heads turned. A figure strode into the Colosseum, bipedal human, standing barely 6 feet tall, dressed in plain combat fatigues that looked primitive amid the ornate ceremonial armor surrounding her. Yet it was the symbol on her chest that stole the breath from the crowd. Fresh black pigment bore the same mark of the Forsaken as Lyra. Ava moved with deliberate purpose, boots echoing sharply against the obsidian floor. By galactic standards, she appeared weak. No reinforced plating, no genetic enhancements, no biological weaponry. Humans had only joined the galactic community 2 generations prior, still considered soft, fragile, untested. "This is not your concern, human," Corvix hissed, his voice distorted through the translator. "The selection is sacred. You have no right to interfere." Ava halted 15 feet from Vorin, positioning herself squarely between the hunter and Lyra. "No authority, you're right. But I have something better," she said, touching the mark on her own chest. "I bear the same symbol as this child. By your own law, if one marked as Forsaken can face death, so can I." "Preposterous," Corvix clicked, leaning forward. "You were not marked by us. You painted that sign yourself." "Does it matter?" Ava's eyes gleamed. "Your symbol declares weakness. Too fragile, too flawed, but weakness is not death. It is potential untested." She walked slowly around Vorin, who kept his rifle trained on her. "Humans have marked the unworthy for millennia. Wrong skin, wrong mind, wrong choices. We've executed every variant of culling imaginable. We starved, burned, exiled. Millions perished. And yet those we marked as weak, they survived. They endured. They adapted. They proved us wrong. Weakness, it turns out, is only strength waiting to be awakened." Vorin adjusted his targeting system, all 4 dots now fixed on Ava. I know what it is to be marked weak, Ava continued, her voice softening. Born with a heart that could barely beat on its own. Doctors predicted I wouldn't reach 20. My own government argued I was expendable. Yet my parents fought for me, I survived, I grew stronger. And here I stand, facing a 7-foot Drevnir, showing him he is wrong. Korvik's multifaceted eyes narrowed. You would sacrifice yourself for this juvenile, this defective creature. Die, Ava's laughter rang, sharp and bitter, devoid of humor. Regent, I'm not here to die. I'm here to demonstrate what marked humans do best. In an instant, she surged forward. Combat training turned instinctive, fluid. In 3 strides, she slammed Vorin's rifle upward as it discharged. The plasma bolt screamed harmlessly skyward. With a sweep of her leg, she toppled him, wrenching the weapon from his grip and pressing its muzzle beneath his mandibles. 4 seconds, that was all it took. We adapt, she said, breathing evenly. We overcome, and we protect those who cannot protect themselves. That is the way of the weak humans. She stepped back, letting the rifle fall. Vorin scrambled to a sidearm, but Korvik's voice halted him. Enough. High Regent Korvix descended the platform, his gaze sweeping over Ava, then Lyra, frozen in awe. Your species is audacious or foolish, he said. Usually both, Ava replied. This child carries the same mark I once bore, a chance. If you destroy every being who deserves a chance, you'll never see what they might become. Korvik's was silent, considering her words, before addressing the assembly. The human has invoked the right of challenge. By ancient law, the marked one may be spared. He looked at Ava. But heed this. The galaxy observes your species. Whether preserving the weak strengthens or delays, your fall remains to be seen. Ava helped Lyra to her feet. The young Thaylen gazed at her with wide, uncomprehending eyes. You'll be okay, Ava whispered. Being marked only means you have something to prove, so prove it. Together they walked from the Colosseum, both bearing the same mark. Whispers filled the crowd. Some condemned human recklessness, others lauded their courage. But all would remember the day a marked human stood for a marked child, revealing what humanity truly embodied. The weak were only weak until someone gave them a reason to fight. And humanity had always excelled at finding reasons. Subscribe to the channel to make the stories even more exciting.